So your film, which I liked very much, came as quite a shock to me because I live in New York, and for one reason or another, all the films I've seen of yours have been your first 5 films. And so to discover a film that has dialogue, narrative, like straightforward narrative, I was shocked and pleased, but really caught off guard. And I know that you've started making movies more in this direction recently. Unfortunately, I haven't seen them, but I'm wondering if you could possibly talk to integrating the challenge and perhaps pleasure of integrating a sort of greater conventional dramatics into your cinema.
I don't know. It's like three last films. There are a lot of dialogue eventually, but and it was a kind of a way. I did not decide one day that okay, I do the dialogues and so on. It's just step by step. Dialogues are important, but on the second hand, you can tell a lot of things without it, But on the other hand, always there are things which needs to be told.
It's a good way of putting it because, I mean, as I said, at first it was a shock to me, but then I was very pleased to see these long discursive scenes where it seemed to combine your interest in physiognomy and the way people look and be on camera with an argument as well, an out loud argument to engage with. Do you find it freeing that you can now sort of include such discourse actively in the film rather than sort of suggesting it silently? Visually, I should say.
I didn't catch exactly what the question.
So, like the scenes in the hotel when everyone is just talking, the conversation about love, the later conversation with the border guard in the Ukraine about why go to fight war, about nationhood and fighting for your country. By including dialogue in the film, it opens a door to include argument in this way, not dramatic dialogue about melodrama, but dialogue about ideas and conflicting ideas. And I'm wondering if this is a sort of a freedom you feel to be able to put these texts to words rather than suggest them visually, as you have in the past.
In this case, I wouldn't agree that it's not visual thing because I think the visual part of it is that these people, as much as I at least wanted to do, they feel what they say. So you can see their faces, you can see their emotions. That is a visual part, It's not but that plot, that whole story from Lithuania to the war and so on. It's really a lot of information, which is eventually achieves better and faster and when you say something about it. So it's really a lot of information about what happens there. So I think it would be a bit difficult to transmit that only without dialogues. And it would be not so right because
you were speaking of that, of course, not just dialogue and oral, but visual, about faces expressing emotions. And one of the things, for me, one of the profound pleasures of encountering your films is is the actors you choose and how you shoot those actors, how you bring out their sort of inner spirit and also their unique physicality. I'm wondering what your casting process is, specifically for the actors who play Rokas and Inger, but in general, what are you looking for when you're casting your characters?
It's difficult to answer that question simply because, let's say, of course, I know more or less the age of the person and so on. But then we are doing all possible. We are crossing all possible streets to get there. I mean, it's let's say we are casting through students. We are looking again in actors. We are trying to find people on the street. You know, it's in this case, like Inga, she's an actress. I mean, she's a student actor. She studies acting. So, but it happens that you can find people just in the street.
And in the past, you've often worked as your own cinematographer. Is your relationship to the images you compose different when there's somebody else specifically dedicated to that role on set?
Not really, no. Not really. In some cases I can give a kind of freedom, but just in some cases. So normally it's the same, or more or less the same way. Just,
But not performing that task yourself frees you up somehow? Like, why? How come you are not acting as your own DP on this film, for example?
with the DP of this film?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. We started to work. We started to work. It's the second film we worked together with like a DP, but we started to work on previous film like an assistant of camera. So it's someone who is working, who wants to achieve things, whom I can easily find the same language.
Speaking of the images of the film, for this film, as with many of your others, for me, when you decide to do a close-up of somebody, time seems to stop. I don't know, there's something so special about the way you shoot faces, whether in the midst of a dramatic scene or not. I just find it completely enthralling. I can picture an image of this film of Inga holding an apple like so well, and I'm wondering how you work with your actors in close-up. Are you giving them specific direction? Are you letting them be themselves? What's that relationship like in close-up?
It's both. Because I really like when actors may do something what is unexpected, what is absolutely something new, what we didn't even think about before, because it's like it's life. It's now, it's today, it happens, and I like that very much and appreciate it all the time. But if not, okay. If it doesn't happen, or we are finding another solutions. We need to make a result. We have to get to the result. We have to get to the film. And most, of course, important for me is when I told you already, that when I can touch something unknown yet. It's all always gives me a kind of pleasure, that it happens. But of course, that to make it happen, you have to be ready at that moment. You have to be with the light, with the camera, with the composition, with the focus, and whatever. And only then you can capture, that moment. And so we are. For me, it's most important to be ready at that time.
Would you say the same is true as for shooting landscapes? Is part of the appeal of this project also that you get to shoot Ukraine?
Of course. So with the landscape, it's almost the same story. You can find a beautiful landscape and so on, and you come there, but the light is changed and it does nothing. It's just nothing. So you choose it and you come and you turn, and this way it's better. So much better. Because also, mostly of course because of light, and or you go to your chosen location and you suddenly see, oh, here, it's better. So I think it's changing. First of all, she wouldn't go alone, of course. But when her boyfriend is going, so why not? It's a kind of adventure. Maybe it'll take a few days and so on, and they go deeper and deeper. She's with him. It's normal, but she's less involved in that. She's like in many cases, women are taking things a bit from another side. And he wants to investigate. He's curious. He wants to understand. He wants to find the question and answer to this question. And she's more spontaneous. She's more just watching at what happens and living it.